Hey, Red and Gold Nation, 49er fans all over, Niner nuts. If you're like me right now, you're still feeling the effects of that horrible loss on Sunday, various days after, and it absolutely 110% sucks. What a way to end the season. Nothing worse than to end the season in SoFi, end the season to a division rival, a team that we beat twice, pistol whipped once, and just a tough way to end the season, man, especially after the run we had and the road we were on. Late in the season, going into SoFi, being down 17 nothing, coming back and beating the Rams, going into Dallas, knocking off the Cowboys, going into the frigid Lambeau Field on the tundra and defeating the Green Bay Packers. I mean, riding high, riding hard, momentum totally in our direction, and came up short on Sunday. I guess is the best way to describe it. I guess if I had to really say, in my opinion, how and why we lost the game, I think that in an extent we did everything that we possibly could as a team, and they made a few plays better than us, and they were a little bit ahead of us, I think, and just kind of made some plays that at certain times that were, were critical, especially on the last drive there. Putting the pressure on Jimmy G and shutting down our run game, which was huge for them, and holding the ball, monopolizing the clock, using our own strategy against us was huge. But that doesn't mean that we didn't play a really good game. I mean, for the most part, again, it's been the same story. It's been all season long of us being in the game. We've been in most of the games we've lost. I think only two: the second loss to Arizona and the Colt game. I think we lost 30-18 or whatever, which we were in that game for a while, but in both games, in most games, and kind of kind of had our fate in our own hands coming into this game. I felt really good about this. I was actually most concerned about the Packers game last week, as I kind of would think that most 49er fans are, because obviously, for the most obvious, Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers in January, freezing cold temperatures. So would make sense, especially when the team hadn't lost at home at all. But coming into this one, I thought we were going to wrap this one up. I either figured it was going to be maybe similar to, kind of both ends of the spectrum, where it was either going to be similar to what we did to them in the first game or similar to what happened in the second game. And it went more towards what happened in the second game, obviously. Look, before we break down this game, you got to give your hat off to the Rams. Obviously, they have a great coach who is in a great pedigree of coaches. He's, in the same boat with guys like LaFleur and, of course, Kyle Shanahan. They work together. Even Zach Taylor, I know he's in that young pedigree of the new faces as terms of head coaches of the NFL. These guys are really good at what they do. The Rams had put together this team specifically to get to a Super Bowl, and they did it very strategically and very smart. They built a lot of this team through the draft in terms of Cooper Cup, in terms of Cam Akers and Aaron Donald, um, and then of course they made some good moves. The move for Stafford, the move for Odell Beckham Jr., um, the trade for Jalen Ramsey. But this team was well put together. I mean, you can't deny that. And they obviously wanted this move with Stafford to pay off right away. And they so far, they still have to win next Sunday. They kind of got their wish. So you got to give them a lot of credit. Uh, McVay coached a great game Sunday. In fact, I thought it was the best outing that I've seen the Rams have against us. Although I will say I was extremely shocked by some of their offensive play calls. and I was extremely shocked by his challenge of the first down spot, as well as him getting rid of those 3 timeouts rather quick in the second half. I thought those were really silly moves on his part, and they were definitely questionable, and they would definitely work in our direction. But other things happened in this game. So going into this one, I felt really comfortable because our team was, again, riding high. We were healthy. Trent Williams was playing. That was a big plus. Um, Ambry Thomas was back. Dre Greenlaw playing, of course. We had everything. The roster was full. So again, that's why I say we did all we could. This team played their heart out. Hat off to Kyle Shanahan. Hat off to the whole roster. Hat off to the whole organization. They had a phenomenal year. No one picked them to be there. Nobody wanted to face them in the playoffs. They got hot at the right time and they were deadly. But, they lost Sunday. So going into this one, obviously, in that first quarter, it looked good at first. Our defense was able to hold them off early on, which was huge. And they came out throwing the ball. In fact, Stafford threw the first 3 plays of the game were all passes. One to Beckham, one to Jefferson, one to Beckham. Obviously one of them was incomplete at the end. And then they punted back to us. So defense doing what defense has done all year long, take care of business. And we didn't get anything going on that first drive. Hat off to their defense. They were able to shut down our run game. And, whenever you have a situation like this, when you go back and forth with an offensive juggernaut like the Rams, who have the ability to score a lot of points instantaneously, especially with the receiving corps that they have, which is scary is think about the fact that they're missing Robert Woods. So other than Robert Woods, there's Van Jefferson, who had a great season, 50 catches, the amazing Cooper Kupp, who's definitely one of the best wide receivers in football and should be considered for MVP this year. And of course, Odell Beckham filling in, solidifying a role there. Tyler Higbee has helped out there, although he got hurt again. And of course, they've got a variety of good running backs, and Sony Michel and Cam Akers. Amazing that he made it back when he did with that terrible Achilles tendon injury. And Henderson wasn't playing, but whenever you have a team like that, you can't possibly keep going back and forth with them. I kind of equate them similar to the Golden State Warriors of basketball, who can put your lights out obviously early, or if you want to get into a tit for tat with them in scoring, you better have enough weapons to kind of meet them where they're at. Or you better have a defense that's going to stop them, or you better have an offense that can hold the ball. And in this game, the roles were reversed. The Rams really held the ball away from us. In fact, they had time of possession was in their hand. So kind of what we do, they did. And couldn't get anything going on that first drive, gave them the ball back. And, again, we started to see Cam Akers being used a little more. He had a big run during that possession for 14 yards. They were getting a lot of positive yards for him. And then it was, Stafford doing what he does, just going back and forth to Kupp, to Higbee, to Beckham. So thank God for Jimmy Ward's interception on that tip pass by K'Waun Williams. We're able to get the ball back because they were driving. And again, now was the perfect opportunity to get something going. But once again, that didn't happen. Mitchell, 3 yards, 1 yard, 3 yards. Their defense was just where it had to be. And things went back and forth, interestingly, in the first quarter. And the first score didn't come till the second quarter when Stafford hit Cooper Kupp for 16 yards. They go up 7-0. They had a very long drive. They went from their own 3. I mean, that's amazing. That was they did what we did. That was a huge drive, man. thank God we saw the Niners come right back. The touchdown pass to the pass to Brandon Ayuk for 31 yards, and then that short pass to Debo, and him getting a lot of yards after the catch for a touchdown, 44 yards, 7-7. So momentum is going in our direction, or we got a lot going. They get the ball back. They drive again to the 36. Matt Gay misses, so momentum has switched right there. And again, we saw the Niners close out the first half in good spirits. Field goal by Robbie Gould, things looking in our way, and we get the ball. Second half, man. Again, hat off to Shanahan. I thought he coached the gem in this one, as he's done various times this season, especially in these big games. In that second half, obviously we needed to get something to get on top of this to extend that 10-7 lead. It was a nice long drive. We got to the Ram 42 and then had a punt, giving them the ball back. And we're able to hold them, thank God. That was that fourth down goose by Matthew Stafford. I was really confused by that, to tell you the truth. I thought that was a bonehead of a call, and I thought it was even more of a bonehead of a way to challenge it. I was surprised McVay, who's a very intelligent guy and a great head coach, would even do that. So again, momentum swinging towards the 49ers direction. Then we go down the field. There's that magnificent pass and catch to George Kittle for 16 yards. And during that drive, again, running the ball was just not happening. I mean, Debo's had the longest run on that possession for 5 yards, but that's a really good defense, man. Again, they added Eric Weddle late in the season, Sean Robinson, Greg Gaines, who's phenomenal, Troy Rita, who's phenomenal, Von Miller, of course. They came to play that defense, but we do get to score 17-7, and again, this is closing the third quarter. Things are looking in our direction. But the taunting on Al Shahir, the penalty, that hurt. That's 15 yards. I don't know about that call, man. I didn't see. I mean, what is a taunt? I could see if if you physically get in somebody's face or whatever. I think the taunting call is absolute bullshit, to tell you the truth. It's part of the game, man, or at least it should be, to an extent. That penalty didn't help us at all. And of course, from there, this guy Kendall Blanton killed us. He gets a catch for 20 yards. They move down to our 20. He gets another catch for 9 yards. They move down to our 11. And then Cooper Kupp again. He's just a guy that is extremely hard to stop. And a lot of the coverage I saw on him wasn't terrible. Ambry Thomas was covering him for the majority of the game, but again, it's Cooper Kupp, man. I mean, he's solidified himself as one of the best wide receivers in football. So we're up 17-14. Obviously, then from that point on, it's the fourth quarter. You got to answer here, even if it's a field goal. I mean, I know it's just a one-possession game, but still, you got to get something. And things start to look good. Jimmy G to Elijah Mitchell for 21 yards. And then to Debo for 12 yards. Mitchell, I think this was his longest run of the game, for 9. Then, of course, was the penalty on Jimmy G, delay a game. That hurt us. Well, that was to move the ball back, I believe, which or it was just I think it was just a delay a game penalty there. I don't even think it was to kind of move everything back, but that didn't help. Before that was the Juszczyk call. That was a questionable one. He went up the middle, no gain. Greg Gaines and Sean Robinson hit him. I was kind of surprised by that. I thought that they were going to go something else, because you saw Trent Williams in the backfield there. I thought maybe they were going to do something like they did against Green Bay. He was going to come, pull, and just kind of knock out the defender on the end, and they were going to just move the ball that way. But that didn't happen. And obviously, we had a punt, 35 yards. So you give a team back the ball who's got extremely high amounts of momentum. They scored their possession before this. Then They're able to stunt us. And, they go down the field and tie the game. Again, momentum just rolling in their direction. Odell Beckham killed us in that game. On that, he had that deep catch, 29 yards. Cooper Kupp. So they went back to what they specialize in, and just using that pass to kind of break us up. There was that penalty on Jimmy Ward during that possession, the helmet-to-helmet hit he had on Odell Beckham Jr. And I could understand why they threw the flag, but here's the problem. How was he supposed to stop his momentum? It's impossible. They got to do something about that, okay? Unless I could see you throw the flag on that if the defender is still standing up at the time, and then after the catch, after the wide receiver is down, he gets low, and it kind of looks on purpose. But in this case, there's no way the man can stop himself. So that's this isn't the Matrix where you could rewind shit. They've got to do something about that. But to be fair, we got away with the Fred Warner shot to Matthew Stafford's head early in the first quarter. So I guess to some extent, I don't know if you want to say that equals out still. I think that was a questionable penalty. He couldn't have stopped himself, but whatever the case, Matt Gay gets the field goal. The game is tied, and then comes the possession. Just again, nothing doing. I was kind of surprised we didn't run the ball a little bit. Garoppolo, incomplete pass to Kittle. Then is the other penalty on Jimmy G, delay a game. I guess the sound, the noise in the stadium. Incomplete to Brandon Ayuk. Then that incomplete pass, Travis Benjamin. Defense did their job, shut us right down. And again, you give a team the ball back who has the ability to move right down the field, and that's exactly what they did. And they did it in a variety of ways. They used Cam Akers, they used Sony Michel. Stafford went to Jefferson. He went to this again, Blanton, who killed us. Beckham, Kupp. I mean, they were using everything they had. Thank God for Samson Ebukam sack and Nick Bosa. We, thank God for that. We held them to a field goal. And then it came down to the offense. And we saw what happened. Defense did a great job. That interception, I saw so many people bitching and moaning about that interception. My question is, well, what was he supposed to do on 3rd and 13 where he's just under duress? Could he have thrown it away? I guess so. But then it's 4th and 13. Yeah, you live. I mean, maybe that would have been better. You live to die on another down. Sure, he could have thrown it away. But again, I could see why, to an extent, he threw it there. But I would lean more to just throwing the ball away at that point. He didn't want to take a sack. And at that point in the game, another down would have definitely have helped. And that's the way this one went. We go back and we look at the game stats for this one. Again, the Rams beat us in a lot of different areas. It's, it's not brain surgery. On first downs, they beat us 25-16. They outrushed us. They're 70 yards to our 50. Even though they didn't rush for 100 yards, testament to the defense, we had 50 yards on the ground. A lot of the time, we don't win when we do that. Throwing the ball through the air obviously was theirs. 337 to our 232. We didn't give up any sacks. Another testament to that great offensive line and the way they played all season long. And we did get 2, 1.5 from Bosa, a half from Ebukam. And total yards, they're 396 to 282. That's more than 100 yards. I mean, that says a lot. Turnover apiece. All penalties, 6 to 54. There's 2 to 10. Now, to be fair with those penalties, there were some bad calls in that game, and there were some missed calls in that game. I counted twice. The Rams, the game clock had gone off on them. They called us for that at one time. There were 2 times that it was really obvious that game clock had gone down to 0 for the Rams, and I do not know why those weren't penalties. The questionable penalty with Al-Hashir and Jimmy Ward. And third down conversion. We were 3 for 9. They were 11 for 18. They had the more opportunities, of course. And biggest exclamation point of the game, in my opinion, is their 35 minutes and 39 seconds of holding the ball throughout 24 minutes and 21 seconds. That's reversal. Although we've We've won when other teams have held the ball a little more than us, but not like this so much, I don't think. And again, just looking at the stats, man, we couldn't get anything going on the ground. Elijah Mitchell, 20 yards, Debo, 26 yards, nothing. Should we have tried to run the ball more? I don't know. I think if we would have had help being able to hold the ball a little more, we could have generated a better run game. But who's to say? Sometimes the defense comes to play. They're zoned in. They're ready to go. Debo, 4 catches, 72 and a touchdown. Mitchell, 3 catches, 50 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 4 catches, 69 yards. Kittle, 2 catches, 27 and a touchdown. And of course, for them, Akers had 48 yards on the ground. Sony Michel had 16. Yeah, for the most part, we held them in check. And then what killed us the most? Odell Beckham, 9 for 113. Cooper Kupp, of course, 11 for 142. And I don't care what anyone says. This Kendall Blanton, my hat off to him. 5 catches, 57 yards. We didn't give up any sacks, thank God. Ambry Thomas, I thought, played his ass off. Kid's going to be good, without a doubt. Fred Warner played his ass off, as he always does. He had 10 tackles. Ambry Thomas had 13. Jimmy Ward played his tail off, 8 tackles. Bosa, when doesn't he play his tail off? Bosa had 2 quarterback hits along with 1.5 sacks. Samson Ebukam, I'm always messing up his name. Ebukam had 2 quarterback hits. I don't know what else to say, really. I really don't. I don't know what else could have been done in this one. I've seen a lot of posts and a lot of things, but, that's Monday morning quarterback. Anybody can do that. I don't know, really. I don't know what else could have been really done. Obviously, we could have held the ball more, could have generated some more positive yardage, but that didn't happen. We could have, I guess, tried to run the ball more. And I've been saying it all year. I would have liked to have seen Kyle Juszczyk be utilized as more of a receiver. I don't know why that doesn't happen a lot. I really don't understand. That's the one part of the offense I'll never get. I mean, the guy is a juggernaut, 3-way type of dude. Block, run, catch. And that didn't happen. But you got to give your hat off to the Rams. I've been saying it all year long. I thought they were cotton candy, and I thought they were overrated. I still think they're a bit overrated. But they stopped us when they should have. Their defense tightened up as the game went on. They limited our opportunities and kind of pigeonholed us, which a good defense does. And they didn't even get a sack. So, hat off to them, and we beat ourselves. I'm not putting the Jimmy G does not get the blame for this one. He had a decent game, threw 2 touchdowns for over 200 yards. Didn't really put the ball into harm's way except for that last interception. There wasn't as many questionable throws as there was against the Green Bay Packers, obviously. Greg Gaines knocked that pass down. Let's talk about the 2 interceptions. The Jaworski Tart interception. Could that have helped? Big time. Was that the reason we lost the game mainly? No, I don't think so, because that happened, 9 minutes or so? So even if we got that, yeah, I mean, look, you go down the field and you get a field goal, the game would have been tied. You get a touchdown, we're in the lead. You don't get anything, you don't get anything. But it would have helped. But I can't put all the blame on him, too. I think Tart has had a phenomenal season, one of the better seasons I've seen him have in his career. So this was a tough loss, man. Shitty way to end the season. And now comes the time where you're going to see a lot of, I guess, for the most part, a lot of changes. I mean, that's the word on the street. A lot of changes. You're going to see transactions are going to happen. Moves are going to happen. I'm sure that they're already in motion. There's a lot of rumors out there. There's a lot of talk out there. And we could only wait to see what happens in this period. But look, in reflection, it was a phenomenal season. We were 2-5. Nobody picked us to be or end where we did at the end. Nobody wanted to face us. We went into 3 opposing teams' houses and beat them all. Rams in the final week to get into the playoffs, the Cowboys and the Packers. So we beat 3 of the NFL's top teams in their own house. One of them being undefeated in the Packers. Nobody else could have done that. And I still think that had we would have played Tampa Bay, we would have beaten them. I would have really have liked to seen the matchup between us and the Bengals because I think it would have been in our favor too because we had beaten them earlier in the season. We had experience against them. It would have been a very good game. But hey, man, shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's not what happened. But phenomenal season all around. My hat off to the whole team. My hat off to management. My hat off to Shanny. I think this was one of his best coaching seasons. My hat off to the offensive line, the defense, all the coaches. D'Amico Ryans, who just recently turned down the potential to coach the Minnesota Vikings. He's back. Did a phenomenal job. He has really solidified himself as a legit defensive coordinator in this league. And a lot to look forward to in the future. A lot to look forward to in the future. A ton of talent, a ton of young talent, right? Debo, Brandon Ayuk, Mitchell, hopefully Trace Sermon. Ton of things to look forward to. There's no reason why this team shouldn't be in the same position or better in the next couple of years, although we'll see what happens with these off-season moves. But I enjoyed every bit of this season. I didn't miss a game. Even when I was in transit, I was watching the games on my phone. And it was an up and down roller coaster ride, man, but I wouldn't have loved anything else. I mean, if you're a hardcore 49 fan like I am, you've seen seasons like this happen. And you really appreciate it at the end because it's been a phenomenal, thrilling ride for you as a fan. You even if you weren't at the game per se, you feel like a part of it the whole time. So it was something to see them start off the way they did, crash a little bit, pick themselves up, and run with it, and just kind of maintain this position of being a legit threat throughout the NFL. So Niner nuts. It's been a phenomenal season, and again, just a tough loss to have. It sucks. It really hurts. I think it hurts more now than it did on Sunday. And seeing all these rumors fly out there with all this the new stuff really sucks. That picture of Debo crying on the sideline really sucked. That made you feel terrible. I didn't even watch the Rams celebrate at the end. I couldn't do that. I turned it off. Said, well, that's it. My hat off to them. And what can you do? So again, another season ends. Another one begins. Once the season ends, the season begins. Everything in the management area has to really get going. And I think that John Lynch has done a really good job, and he'll continue to do a really good job. And it should be interesting for the most part to see what happens from this point on, because there's a lot of business to take care of. There's a lot of things that we have to get done. There's a lot of issues we have to address. And the off season is always that time of the year where that happens. So great year, man. Lot to look back on, lot to reflect on, lot to feel good about. Major strides were made for the future as well. Knocking off the Packers and the Cowboys, the Rams twice. I think the story was the same for this team all year long. They were in control of their own fate all the time. Even in the rough patches. And there were a lot of them. But they overcame them, and they persevered and went forward. So nothing to feel bad about for us Niner fans. Nothing to feel bad about at all. Any hater can suck it, because last time I checked, we made it to the NFC Championship game, so it is what it is. But Thank you all for listening. Another episode will be coming soon, talking about the off-season moves. Niner Nut out.